Welcome, everybody. John Zager. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope everyone is fine and having a good start to your day. Today I kind of want to do a couple things. Towards the end I have an announcement I want to make. But from time to time I do workshops and give lectures of that sort. Mostly around healing, self-healing. And I wanted today to spend just, a little bit under 20 minutes or so just doing an introductory workshop presentation. And probably for, I don't know, maybe a couple days or so. On Friday we have something special happening, but for today and tomorrow we'll do a little bit of the workshop and just see how that goes. By all means, go ahead and I'll leave information on how to get a hold of me. Excuse me, I got something caught in my throat. And if you have any comments from today or tomorrow, just go ahead and send them to me. Happy to take a look at them and respond the best that I can. So, here we go. Always starts off, and again, this seems to be pretty traditional anymore, is that, the question comes up is that, how do you get sick? What happens in order for you to get sick? We're going to use not sickness like flu or colds or things of that nature, but disease, diabetes. And we'll just use that as an example this morning. But how do you get diabetes? And do you have anything to do with that? And do you create disease yourself? Are you able to do that? Are you able to have thoughts that will create disease? Can you create diabetes through thought alone? Well, there's a bunch of different thoughts to consider. And the basic one is are you in control of that? Are you in charge of that? Do you regulate your wellness and sickness and disease and trauma? I guess that's the question. A lot of people are able to say, yeah, I can make myself sick. And for the most part, they're talking about, you can run yourself down, your resistance down, your immune system down to where you become vulnerable and susceptible to colds and sore throats and earaches and flus and, all of that kind of stuff. But some people out there will even go as far as saying, yeah, I can run my immune system down so far that I can create disease in myself. So the question is, how do you do that? How does that happen? How does that happen? Science, neuroscience, has it and says, and you can go research this stuff. It's pretty prevalent out there on the internet. But if you're into negative thinking, stress, and of course, 70% of our lives is spent in stress, living in stress. And living in stress, we produce cortisol, right? A stress hormone, adrenaline. And if we do that periodically in our lives for short periods of time, it does no harm. But if you keep feeding out cortisol and adrenaline and having bad thoughts and stressful situations and environments and interactions and relationships and financial concerns and housing concerns and transportation. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. If you are an angry person, if you are depressed more often than not, anxious more often than not, all of those things do several specific things to your body that can create and produce disease. Number one, your immune system practically shuts down. And if you don't have your immune system strong and in force, then there's nothing to fight off or ward off disease and sickness and ill health, right? What else? If you're not in the best of personality, how you think, act, and feel, and if your personality is fairly negative on how you think, act, and feel, right, you become vulnerable in a bunch of different areas. You may not be as conscientious about the food that you eat. You may be eating in fast food places every day. Believe it or not, there's people that do that. They just live on fast food. I don't know if they go in morning, noon, and night. I'm sure there's some that do, but for the most part, they depend on their food intake from fast food facilities that, the food probably has chemicals. It's not organic, so there's, maybe some pesticides in there, some things, I don't know how you'd say it, but the animals that they use may not be the healthiest of animals. And butchering those and eating those may not be such a healthy thing to be doing. Eating the French fries. There's French fries at most every fast food place, right? And there's usually a fair amount of salt in those kinds of places. So your salt or sodium intake goes up. You're drinking probably not water, but you're drinking maybe sweet tea or sodas with sugar, the sugar content. Maybe you become insulin resistant. Maybe when you go to the grocery store, if you're having a terrible time dealing with life and there's so much stress going on, you don't think as much. You go to the grocery store and you just I'm going to grab some burger, I'm going to grab some canned vegetables, maybe some potatoes, I don't know, from the frozen food section, a little deal of ice cream, something sweet, some soda to drink. So again, you're making decisions through thought of not being very conscientious about the food that you put in your body. The other thing that happens if you, let's say you're struggling with getting through the day and life and all the problems that are associated with that, you may not find the time to exercise. Exercise is huge. So your diet has taken a dive. Your physical body is not doing very well because you're not exercising. The stress in your life continues to go up, possibly at work. If you work, maybe you don't work. Your mental attitude, your emotions, the chemicals in your body, the depression, the anxiety, the anger, the bitterness, the resentment, all of those things just continue to exacerbate the fact that you're attracting disease. And what that does, I guess another step to that process, is that it causes you to upregulate genes that are diseased. What that does is it causes you to upregulate disease. Genes that may be diabetic, may be cardiovascular disease, could be any number of diseases that you're upregulating into your body. And there's nothing to fight it off. There's nothing going on there to stop or prevent those genes from coming into your system. So when somebody asks you or makes a statement to you that you caused the disease, and you get resistive, and you think, no, I didn't do that. Well, you did. All of the things I just talked about require a thought process to occur. It may be short. It probably is not thought out. It may be irrational. It may be out of anger. But you're not in a frame of mind to make decisions on your health that are going to prevent disease. So the question is always an interesting one, and I guess it's kind of open for conversation, I suppose. There's a lot of people that have different views on this, depending on which side you happen to be on. But I believe we create disease through our thoughts, through our deeds, through our actions, by our beliefs, by our perceptions. We're brought up. We're brought up as little people with other adults, family members, that are modeling behavior to us that may not be very healthy. They might be angry, bitter, resentful about a disease they have, and they're not conscious, or they're not as conscious as they might need to be about the diet that they do, the exercise they do, the way they care for themselves. And you see that. And when you get older and you happen to have that same personality with those negative emotions, you get lax as well about taking better care of yourself. Those are thoughts. Those are thoughts that you're having that are creating your reality, which in this particular case, the example we're using is you're upregulating a disease. So if you get short with a person who says that to you, You're doing exactly what they're suggesting. You're creating that disease. You're allowing that disease to continue, to get worse, to build. So my question to you guys is, this morning, do you create your own disease? Do you allow disease to happen? Do you do that through thought, through thoughts, through your personality, how you think, act, and feel? Ponder that for a little while. I wanted to just say, and tomorrow we'll continue with this. We'll continue with the other side of the coin, with if we can think ourselves sick, can we think ourselves well and heal ourselves? On Friday, as usual, I've been doing this for a while, but I'm going to continue doing it. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like an open day for anyone to call in and ask questions. So the podcast is 11 o'clock, live, Mountain Standard Time, Friday. Okay? If you need to get a hold of me, it's the phone number is 970-443-5111. My email address is jzegar@gmail.com. JZEGAR @gmail.com. My website, of course, is johnzager.com. So think about some questions for Friday. I would enjoy having you guys call in, ask some different questions. We're talking basically about neuroscience and self-healing. And I think these 2 days prior to that will give you some questions that'll come up in your head that you'll want to ask on Friday. So 11 o'clock, Mountain Standard Time, Friday, live podcast. Call in and ask questions. One last thing, I guess, I haven't done this in a long, long time. I probably need to do it. It's house cleaning stuff, but I'm self-supporting, so if there's any way you can send your nickels, dimes, quarters, dollars, whatever to my PayPal account, that sure would be helpful for me. It's the way you get into it. It's just my email. It's jzager@gmail.com. So go to PayPal, put in whatever amount of money you'd like, and you'll need to get into my account, which is jzager@gmail.com. So God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I'll look forward to talking to you all again real soon. Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.